Hi, this is Robin with Martin Dollhouses. The purpose of this video is to give some instruction on how to potentially pre-decorate your dollhouse before you assemble the main pieces of it. The first thing I want to say is please read the first few pages of the directions that are enclosed with your dollhouse. The directions specifically on how you assemble the 10 to 13 main pieces. For the purpose of this video, we're going to be using the country as an example. So I'll be referring to those pieces, but this applies to any dollhouse. So please read those directions. The second thing is that for the country and the alpine, there's a dormer window on the roof that you must pre-assemble and assemble and put together completely before you do anything else. If you want to decorate the inside of that dormer window, there's markings that show you what area is the interior versus the exterior. And so on the interior, you can paint it, you can put wallpaper on it, whatever you like. Go ahead and do that with the dormer window, but you must assemble it without putting the siding and without putting the shingles on it. And for the dormer window, it's going to be put on your section with the cutout for the dormer window before you do anything. And so that means that piece of your roofing that has the cutout for the dormer window also does not get shingles put on it. So at the very end, after the dollhouse is completely put together, you're going to put the dormer on that roof piece and secure it with wood glue and your nails. You're going to let it dry. Then you're going to assemble it onto the house while the house is lying flat on its back. And then you're going to put the shingles on the house roof. And then you're going to put the siding and the shingles on the dormer, which again is attached to the roof. And that is because you're going to you need the space on the raw piece with no shingles to put the dormer on top of it. And then you're going to need to cut around the shingles and the siding on the dormer to look attractive and fit on the dollhouse piece. So those two things, read the assembly instructions all the way through. And secondly, assemble the roof and dormer piece together, pre-decorating the dormer first if you want to, but make sure you assemble that and don't add any sidings or shingles to that side of the roof and the dormer. So let's get started on pre-decorating. So let's start by the first thing you need to do, and that is I would lay out all the pieces according to the diagram that's included in your instructions, so you know how the house is going to fit together. If you take a look at the diagram very quickly, by looking at this, you can tell what side of each section or piece is ceiling versus floor and the walls. One of the things you want to do is when you're pre-painting, don't get paint in the dados themselves or at the very edge of the pieces because it'll make it really hard, if not impossible, to get those pieces to fit inside the dado. So what is a dado? Let's take a look at that real quick. A dado is essentially a groove cut in the wood so that another piece can fit in there and make it extra strong. And so what you're going to do, as the instructions tell you, is you're going to draw a line of glue inside that dado, insert the piece that goes in there, making sure it's flush on the front and the back, and then you're going to put nails in the holes that you will see inside that dado. And the holes you'll see on the outside of the piece so that you can drive a nail and hit exactly that section that you've inserted in the dado. So before I get into some very unique things about pre-decorating before assembly, I just want to talk about a couple things, and that is paint and paint roller. So the thing that I use to paint both the interior ceilings and walls is I use a foam roller. So it looks like this, and it's foam. It creates a very smooth surface. And then of course you're going to probably need some kind of paint pen. I use a small one. The thing that you want to do with this is your pieces have already been sanded for you. So go ahead and take a primer, just a white regular house paint primer for interior, and roll it on all the pieces that you want paint. And then after the paint dries, you're going to take the sandpaper included with your kit, and it's either a 220 or 320 grit sandpaper, so very fine. And you're going to sand over the areas that you just painted. What that does is it takes off any rough nubs that have been caused by the moisture in the paint that draws out the wood, and it makes it smooth again. And then you're going to paint it your final color after you use that sandpaper. Regarding paint, I just use regular interior paint, any kind of acrylic paint you can use. Oftentimes I can get these samples at Home Depot that somebody has returned and did not want. So that's where a lot of our interior paint comes from. You can also just buy a quart. This happens to be Behr. I also use Sherwin-Williams. But the thing here is make sure it's a satin enamel at least, so that it's easy to wash off. Okay, so let's talk about applying the siding first, and then we're going to go into the shingles. In your instructions, when you assemble the house and then you put on the siding and shingles, you're going to use your glue gun with the glue sticks provided in your Dollhouse kit. And the reason for that is the house is going to be standing up when it's assembled, and you're going to be applying the siding and shingles. And if you use the wood glue, the siding and the shingles are going to slip right off the house because it takes about 20 to 30 minutes for that glue to set. Because you're pre-decorating, you can lay the piece flat on a table or on the floor, and you can use your wood glue to glue the siding and the shingles together. And it will hold it forever, the glue will. So that if you're watching this video and you're going to pre-decorate, grab your wood glue instead of your glue sticks. Now, if you run out of wood glue, you can use the glue sticks. That's not a problem. Let's take a look at a demonstration on applying the siding when before you assemble, so pre-assemble. So the lines are already drawn, and that's where the top of the siding is adhered to. The first slat lays flat on the piece and this is at the bottom of the house. And so the other slats are about 7/8 inch away from that slat, causing a 1/8 inch overlap. So what you're going to do is you're going to apply some glue on that first slat, and you're just going to put it all over that piece, since this siding slat is laying flat on the house itself, and you're making sure it's flush with the bottom there. Then you're going to take the second siding slat, and for this you're going to draw some glue on the slat along the line that's drawn for you, and then at the bottom or on the other side of the slat itself, you're going to do a bead of glue. And you're going to slightly drag the top of the slat over that glue that's on your piece, and then you're going to put it on the other slat as shown in the video here. And you probably need a little rag or paper towel to clean up excess glue as it seeps out. You're going to do the same thing all the way up. So draw a bead of glue on the line, and the reason you do that is so you can drag it to make sure you get glue on that one side of the siding. And then you're going to, when your glue bottle works right and it's not clogged, you're going to draw a line on the other side, and then you're going to put the two together. And that's all there is to it. So let's look at section 7 of the country, and here we're putting on the siding just as we talked about. And what I want you to notice are the circles there. They are circling the pre-drilled holes for a piece of your dollhouse to fit inside that dado. So what you're going to do is you're going to glue, just as we talked about, the siding up until you get to the area where those pre-drilled holes are. And so all of these pieces have been glued. And what you're going to do is not glue this piece that goes over those holes, the pre-drilled holes. You're just going to set it there. And then the next slat is number 6. You're going to go ahead and glue it in place, and so forth all the way up. And then what happens is when you come back to put the house together, you can slip that slat out that was put in there just as a spacer. And what this allows you to do then now is put the house together and nail the hole after you glue the dado, put the section in it, nail through the hole with a nail. So slip it out. And what has happened is you've created a space there because the other ones are glued that you can easily slip that siding back into its place and obviously glue it before you do that. And you'll cover up those nail holes. So let's move on to the shingles. There's a whole shingle and a half shingle, and you'll see that in your instructions, and that dictates what's at the end of that shingle, a whole piece or a half piece. Just like the siding, you're going to lay the first row flat, lining it up with the line, and you'll notice there's an 1/8 inch overhang on the siding piece for the shingles. So now what you're going to do, you can alternate between the half and the whole, and this happens to be the half piece because the first piece you're going to put down is whole. These half and whole pieces offset the shingles and make it look real. And just like the siding, you're going to continue to do the same thing. You're going to glue them in place, draw a bead on the line, put a few dabs of glue on the shingles themselves so they hold down. And where those pre-drilled holes were, you're going to slip out probably 2 shingles. You're not going to glue those in place so you can reach those pre-drilled holes for assembling later on. And then once the glue dries, you have the house together, you're going to insert those slots again. Okay, that was the major things. Please read the first part of the instructions all the way through so you really know how the house is put together. Second, lay out all the pieces on the ground so you can kind of see how they all fit together. And third, make sure that you only pre-decorate the interior of the dormer window only, and make sure that you go ahead and attach the dormer to the house piece, the corresponding roof piece for that dormer, not putting on any shingles or sidings on that piece or the dormer. That's really important. But if you have any issues, don't hesitate to give me a call. It's probably going to be me who picks up the phone, and I love helping people. You can call me at 512-717-5685. You can call me on my personal cell phone, 512-954-8074. You can email me at robin@martindollhouses.com. And you can also text me at any one of those phone numbers. So I'm happy to help. Good luck, and don't hesitate to give us a call. Thanks.